So the Prime Minister has been juggling egos, most importantly his own, but everyone must know he is all-powerful, all-amazing. He will rule for the next 400 years. Why? Because upon getting a third of the vote and another third in preferences, he, of course, has more than 90 seats in the Parliament. Today, as you know, he announced a whole collection of new ministers, who are the old ministers, moving to new portfolios. Now, who cares who's the winners and losers, but some of the significant movements here are worth noting. Michelle Rowland, who, when she was the Communications Minister, remember, wanted to censor the internet to decide what was truth and not truth, and the government would make the decision. Well, she's now the Attorney General of the country, in charge of, put simply, the chief law officer of our country and how the system works. Tony Burke, who, of course, moved into the Home Affairs portfolio after clueless Claire O'Neill and that idiot Andrew Giles did the damage that they did. Well, guess what? He, of course, wouldn't call out hate preachers because that would be inconvenient to his own political process. Well, guess what? One of his responsibilities are now going to be in Home Affairs. He's now going to be in charge of the Australian Federal Police and ASIO, both of which would have a significant role at looking into hate preachers. Elections have consequences, people. We will live with them for many years to come. Also, those that have been moving around. Aged care, difficult issue for any politician to get their head around, but one where some politicians don't want to really get their hands dirty. So we've changed the letterhead and we've got this new body, and this new body's going to do all the work, so I'm not responsible for anything. But I tell you, the person with the widest smile, because they have got one heck of a promotion, is Anika Wells, who replaced Wayne Swan as the Labor member for Lilly. She's, of course, somebody who considers herself to be quite the girl boss, but more importantly, just amazing on social media. She's down with the kids, and she's not at all patronising when she compares the federal budget to a maths dinner party.
Like a maths dinner party, this budget week has been filled with drama and intrigue. So welcome to Policy as Pop Culture, your pre-election guide to the big issues. Now, it's been a busy week. Budget on Tuesday, last night's final dinner party on maths.
Perfect example about the sort of Labor star with zero connections to the world of small business. And didn't she prove that when she was trying to ram home what she believed to be one of the problems with the Liberal Party's policy, which suggested that if you are a small business, that you would be able to write off on your tax taking out your staff or a client for lunch. This is the rule, of course, with big business and big banks and big unions, but God forbid if you, the ABN holder, would be able to have the same tax break that a bank has. Here was a pretty arrogant performance, one that, of course, was rewarded by the media and went down like a treat on social media, where she liked to pretend that the average small business in Australia has enough money lying around that they could take whoever they wanted to the Super Bowl, the grand final of American football in the United States, and claim it on tax.
According to the Coalition's publicly defined parameters of their own policy, business could spend up to $20,000 of Elizabeth's own taxpayer funds to attend something like, for example, the Super Bowl, to lather themselves in buffalo wings and baby back ribs nodding along to Kendrick Lamar.
Now, one of the things that's really important to notice about people who have incredible ambition, and every single member of the Parliament wants to be the leader one day, regardless of what party they are sitting in, and all of them who say otherwise, please. This might be a little bit of a look around the corner into future generations of the type of person who will be rewarded by the Labor Party. Because, you see, one of the smartest things that Anthony Albanese did when he was a government minister or in opposition was to never have a portfolio that really ever had to deliver bad news. This means that you're able to build up a caricature of yourself. And, of course, there's not a lot of enemies in the closet in terms of with the decisions that have been made. Now, Anika Wells is not going to get her hands dirty anymore when it comes to aged care. That's off to somebody else. So she has a super ministry that is the ministry every politician would dream of. She's the sports minister in Australia. And they've also announced today that she will be in charge of the media. Now, when it comes to being the sports minister, you get to go to all of the big major sporting events around the country, and you get to go for free. Here she is in 2002 in the birdcage at the Melbourne Cup, when, of course, she was told by Anthony Albanese at the time, don't do it because it gives off a bad look. But what does she care? I'm the sports minister and I have to be there in the birdcage. This job is also one that pays many hundreds of thousands of dollars and comes with it an awful lot of free tickets. In fact, I can scroll up on the TV for you right now. All of the different things that she has declared on her registry of gifts, like corporate tickets to the NRL, the AFL, the women's basketball tournaments, the tickets to the Prime Minister's 11, also the NFL, the ARL, FIBA. There's also, as I say, women's basketball. There's the Brisbane Lions. There's the AFL finals. There's a ticket donated by The Guardian for her to attend the midwinter ball where all of the media gets to play with all the politicians. Isn't it a great system? Plus a couple of corporate tickets for her plus one to not one but two State of Origin games. And then there's the list that Anika Wells has put out there of what she is completely legally entitled to, but why she's the happiest lady in the cabinet. Because this is some of the travel and hospitality that she has received since becoming a minister. She's gone to the Sale GP, the Australian Tennis Open. She's gone to the McGrath Foundation's Pink Test in Sydney. She's also multiple times gone to multiple cricket events. In fact, it's a very long list. The AFLW preliminary final. She's been to the Dally M Awards. She's been to the Brownlow. She's been to the Live Golf. She's even been to Motorsport Australia's President's Dinner. She's been to the Formula One. She's been to Taylor Swift. And so on and so on and so on. Why? Because, of course, the sports minister has to be there. And all of the sporting organisations are more than happy for her to get the freebie. Why? Because they wouldn't want to upset the dear person who could be in charge of regulating things in and around sport. Well, she gets an extra job. No longer having to worry about aged care, she is now the communications minister. As the communications minister, she is now in full control of the regulatory environment around radio, television, newspapers, online, and yeah, she'll probably find some way to make it harder for me to do my job because I point out everything I just did. But if you're the sports minister and you can go to all the sport in Australia for free and you're the communications minister and nobody in the media will bag you, then you are going to be the happiest person in the cabinet. A person who, in 55 years, when the Prime Minister decides to move on, keep an eye on her because she will move up the chain. She doesn't like criticism. She can't stand what I've just shown you. She'll girl boss something and passive-aggressively do something on social media, no doubt, in the next little while. But the reality is this is a person who is now in charge of the free speech that our nation is able to have or not have. Yet when it comes to her own constituents on her own Facebook page, if you're a critic, blocked.